Hello, my name is Craig Smith. I'm a career advisor at the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to talk to you about conversation stacking. Conversation stacks are used in networking environments. And networking ahead of public speaking and death is the #1 fear of young Americans today. And again, this presentation and this conversation stacking exercise is just to help relieve the anxiety that goes into being in networking events, meeting new people, and how to carry on that conversation. A couple things we want to talk about before we get in the conversation stack is carrying on a conversation. As the slide shows, the best networks only talk 20% of the time, so it is best to have topics and questions to discuss. The best subject matter in the world, by all accounts, is the person you're talking to. I've never left a conversation in which the subject matter was me and thought, man, that was a bad conversation. Every time I leave a conversation and I was talking about me during that conversation, I think whoever I was talking to had the best topic in the world because we were talking about me. And I don't know anything more, all right, than me. I know myself inside and out, so it's an easy topic for me to keep discussing, for me to move forward with. Preparation is key. Research who will be in attendance. Check out the venue, blogs, news sites, and current events. Know where you're going. Know who's going to be there. Know what their company stands for, their mission statement, what they're hiring, what they're looking for, the good things about their place, how many locations they have, how many people they hire. Know about the people that you're going to be talking to, so you don't have to go in perfectly blank on a subject matter, but you're allowed to move through based on work that you've done prior to getting to that event. Entering and exiting a conversation, reading the body language. If you walk into a room and you see someone that has an open body language, so two people are standing looking out at the room, where if you were to approach them, they're open-faced to you. Both their chests are open to the room. Okay, it's kind of like they're people watching. They're just looking through the room. Sometimes you'll be invited into a conversation, waved in by an employer or a faculty member you may know. If that's time where you want to meet somebody or you already know one of the two people standing there, that's a time for you to come up, introduce yourself, hand out a business card, reintroduce yourself to somebody that you may have met once or twice, and give that elevator pitch, that 15 to 30 second commercial about you. That's a perfect opportunity. Now, another way you can read body language in networking events is when people are closed off. So if I'm standing toe-to-toe with somebody or face-to-face and our chests aren't open to the room but instead just to each other, don't be the person that comes and stands directly next to them waiting to get in on their conversation. That is a closed conversation and they're not open for you to come in at that point and try to be a part of that. Safe topics and questions, and this is a great segue to the conversation stack that we're about to go through, is how did you get where you are? What do you like about your job? What challenges or successes have you had at your company? And you don't want to ever go into the negative, what don't you like? The word challenges is a great way to say what's that gray area as far as with your company or what your with your profession. And it's kind of getting both sides of it along with what do you like about your job. The conversation stack, and the reason for the conversation stack and what I use sometimes in the recruiting aspect of my job is it gives you an opportunity to keep moving the topics forward, to continue to know about people. When you develop a relationship with somebody, you start to know more about them, not just what can benefit you based on who they are, but more important, the integral pieces that make up who they are. As we enter this conversation stack, again, these are just some tips and topics that will help relieve the anxiety of having to hold a conversation. The very first thing I want you to picture is a mailbox. And on this mailbox, this white mailbox with a red flag, is a big gold nameplate. In the middle of that gold nameplate is the name of the person you're talking to. For the sake of this conversation, make it your name. Because you want to remember the gold nameplate as the greatest subject matter in the world, you. So you have a mailbox with a red flag up and a big gold nameplate with the best subject matter in the world, your name. As we move forward, I want you to picture a red house. And obviously with this PowerPoint, you're going to envision it, but make sure you're doing this mentally as well, because you won't have this PowerPoint with you. Okay? You're going to picture a red house, okay? Big red house, brick house with red shutters. So you have a big red house with red shutters, and it's a brick house. Prior to that, you had a mailbox, the red flag, and that big gold nameplate with the best subject matter in the world, you. As we look at our red brick house with red shutters, that should automatically start thinking of a home, family, and that's our very next step. Think of family. There's a kids playing in the yard, children running in the house, a cat and dog running around the living room chasing each other, knocking over a lamp. All that's in that big red house, red brick with red shutters. In the front yard is that mailbox with that big gold nameplate with the best subject matter in the world, you. Coming out of the house, coming out of the chimney of that big red house, Red brick house with red shutters, with the kids running in the yard, running in and out of the house, with the cat being chased by the dog that knocked over a lamp, that has a mailbox with the red flag with that best subject matter in the world, you, on a big gold nameplate. Coming out of that chimney are 2 work gloves. Not just any kind of gloves, not mittens, not winter gloves, they are work gloves. Coming out of those work gloves, the 2 gray work gloves, is a happy face and a sad face. Okay, that's coming out of the chimney of that red brick house with red shutters, with the kids running around, with the dog chasing the cat, they knocked over a lamp, with a mailbox, the red flag, that huge gold nameplate with your name on it. Those gloves have a happy face and a sad face on them. Those gloves are holding a jet. This is a jumbo jet, 757, with 2 green lights flashing off the front of it. And those green lights are coming at you 1,000 miles per hour. Those green lights are being held by the 2 work gloves with the happy face and sad face that are coming out of a chimney of a red brick house with red shutters that has a family running around, a dog chasing a cat, they knocked over a lamp, within the front yard is a mailbox with a huge gold nameplate with the best subject matter in the world, you. And at the top of that chimney is 2 work gloves, happy face and a sad face. Those gray work gloves, holding a jumbo jet 757 with 2 green lights flashing going 1,000 miles per hour. Teetering on the wing of that jet is a tennis racket. Tennis racket has all different color lights, sparkles on it, just electrifying. That's sitting teetering on the wing of that 757 jet with the green flashing lights. That's sitting on top of the 2 work gloves with a happy face and sad face coming out of the chimney of a red brick house with red shutters, with a family running around, with the dog being chased by the cat being chased by a dog knocking over a lamp that has in front of it a mailbox with a gold nameplate with the best subject matter in the world, you, on top of it. As we go back through and we look at the different subjects we hit on, and we'll pan out here in a second with that tennis racket teetering on the edge, that is your conversation stack. Those are the different pieces that you're going to go through to learn more about the people you're talking to. And here's how I use that in recruiting. In this looking for jobs networking, there's a recruiting piece to that. You're getting to know the people so that they want you, or vice versa, you're going to want them. And this works in 2 different ways. Whether you're going after somebody and trying to make them an employee of your company, or you're looking to be an employee of an employer's company, this conversation stack is very useful when trying to learn about people. Let's start at the bottom, the nameplate. Obviously, that's the name of the person. First and foremost, the best thing that we can learn is the person's name. So we have that in recognition of knowing who people are. Then you go to the house. Now we're picturing a home. Where are you from? Where do you live in relevance to where you work? Do you have a long commute? Do you like the location where you live? Are you looking to move? Asking where they're from originally can lead to maybe it's a different state, or what brought you to move to the area in which you now live. Family. Asking about family, making inquiries. Family to me is something that's developed over several meetings where you learn a little more about them, asking them questions about maybe their son or daughter as you know more about them, or their partner, significant other, finding out a little bit about more what maybe they do, learning that family piece, because everybody likes to talk about their family, and again, you're keeping that subject matter on them, what they know the most about. As we continue to grow, and out of the top of the chimney came those work gloves. Again, the importance of that was their work, okay, and the work gloves should trigger what they do for a living. The happy face and the sad face leads to those questions that we talked about in the very first slide that hit on those safe questions. What do you like most about your job? What do you find challenging? Again, I personally stay away from the negatives when looking to meet people or network with them for the first time. But as I go farther in the process, you will hit on what do you find challenging, because you want to know the most about what they do and their strengths and weaknesses. Maybe if you're looking at this from an employer's perspective, looking at employees, talking about strengths and weaknesses. We had our 757 jumbo jet that had those green lights on the front going 1,000 miles per hour sitting in those work gloves. That 757 jet, now we're talking about travel. Do you travel for work? It's okay to correlate more than one thing together. Do you travel much for work? Where's the farthest you've ever been on vacation? Are you planning a trip for spring break? Those sort of questions. Just again, you're trying to ask questions about them, try to get them talking about that subject matter that was on that gold nameplate, which is them. They know more about that than anything else. And of course, teetering on the wing was that tennis racket. Most of the time you think of it in more of an athletic thing, but do you play tennis? Do you play golf in the summer? Do you vacation? Do you go golfing on vacation? You're trying to, again, just create that subject matter, those different outlets. Now you're talking about hobbies. Those are just some of the different avenues and different ideas to use when creating that conversation stack. Of the gold nameplate on the mailbox, the red brick house with red shutters, family running around, cat being chased by a dog, knocking over a lamp, coming out of the chimney, 2 work gloves with a happy face and a sad face, holding a 757 jet with 2 green lights flashing 1,000 miles per hour, teetering on the wing, a tennis racket with sparkles and lights coming all around it. And those are the different topics that we use when creating a conversation stack to get people to talk about that subject matter they like the most themselves. If you have any questions, please contact the Career Services Office in the Student Success Center at the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, or please call us at 920-424-2181.